All right, welcome everybody to the show. How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody's doing great. And it looks like we're good to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into it, shall we? Well, I find it an exciting topic to talk about today because you can never talk enough about it, but I'll let you know the reason why. Welcome everyone to another enlightening, thought-provoking, and many times controversial, edgy show, when in fact it's all simply what I advise other fellow human beings to think about. Our topic is pornography and OnlyFans. But before we get into it, shout out to... That's right, we're going to do a shout out here. Here we go. Special shout out to Emmanuel Tech 6615. That's right. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Tech 6615. I have to say the whole name. Absolutely. I enjoy speaking words of wisdom every day, and I know you have much to teach as well. So everyone, please go to Emmanuel's channel and subscribe. He's got a lot of fitness videos, cooking stuff, yada, yada, yada. You guys can pause the screen if you want to read this, but I pretty much just summed it up. He says, most definitely, anytime, keep them videos flowing. Sure will. You're speaking words of wisdom and knowledge. Well, same to you, my friend. So without further ado, see, that's the priority I place on my fans, on my subs. Wow, imagine that. All right. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and proceed. Okay, so now the reason why I chose this topic for today, because I kind of cover it over in my past videos and a little bit in some live streams, but this is very direct, once and for all, never again. I don't think I have to touch this topic ever again. I'm going to really nail it and just send it home today. Hit a home run with this stuff because it really needs to be explained. I'm seeing videos out there condemning OnlyFans and pornography. It's 100% hypocritical behavior, and I'm going to explain why. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's sad to see. So there's these negative trends going on, like, oh, it's so I found happiness living all alone. No, you probably need a break, and you should live alone for at least 6 months or a year or maybe longer to get over your mental and emotional problems. Maybe a failed relationship. But now I'm seeing this trend where people are bashing OnlyFans participants and also pornography. I'm like, what's going on with the world? Lots of anti-freedom stuff out there. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and dish it out to you, but without further ado, let's begin, shall we? First of all, before proceeding any further into the main nitty-gritty source material, I must educate those who still can't understand this simple concept. Hopefully you do. The fact that sex is either for procreation, meaning having kids, or for sexual satisfaction. It's that simple. Okay? You can look up the definition of sex. It's really not rocket science. Okay? It's for pleasure or for procreation. It's supposed to be a spiritual event, an emotional event. So when I say spiritual, it's a soul level event that happens hopefully frequently in your life with somebody that you truly love. But I know sex is going to be just sex with people who are not in love. I understand. So let's go ahead and proceed, shall we? That's just very basic, okay? That's all I'm doing right now. Something very, very basic. All right. So without further ado, let me go back to it by simply saying there's nothing disgusting about sex. It's a very natural activity that each and every single one of us came from. This is very important. We are all, as I always say, creatures of sex. We were all born straight out of the vagina. Imagine that, okay? I have to emphasize that, sadly, because, you know, there's going to be people saying, well, why did you bring that up? Well, you'll see why. Okay, so, second of all, before proceeding, let's just quickly knock out the fact that every animal you see in the wilderness has no clothes. No, the fur doesn't count. Fur is hair. But they're all naturally naked, wondering why humans have such an issue with seeing naked bodies. Understand? This is very important to bring up. You might think it's ridiculous, but believe me, people forget the basics. I'm pretty sure everyone takes showers while naked. We were born naked and get naked either for sex or to take a shower. Typically. You know, there's probably other instances, maybe like a medical exam or whatever, but you get the point. There is absolutely nothing disgusting or shameful about our natural human bodies. Understand this. We were meant to be naturally naked. So we are what we naturally are. That kind of sums it up. And you kind of get naked to change clothes, by the way. But that's still shower related, so you get it. Okay, so awesome. Now we can proceed after that mind-blowing natural logic that I just went over. Those two things. Many unbelievably need to be reminded of, sadly, that logic that I just mentioned. So, let's just very quickly now discuss how incredibly easy it is to understand the world of pornography. Okay? Pornography. That's what we're going to discuss for a little bit. Because the main cookies are later. Pornography, as I always say, is simply a form of visual and auditory sexual pleasure, primarily designed to elevate one's own masturbatory options. It's also a fantastic learning tool to explore your sexual desires, either single or as a couple. I learned a lot from pornography, but before pornography even existed, I learned a lot through the dictionary and encyclopedias, anything to do with sex since the age of 13. Imagine that. I was curious. And then I started seeing sex scenes in movies, and then talked about in novels, romance novels, and then people talking about sex. So I just had an extra ear out for all these details and curiosities. And what do you know? Once porn hit the scene, I didn't even look at pornographic magazines because that was a thing of the black and white days pretty much. So I'm an 80s and 90s boy growing up. So in the 90s is when porn hit the scene along with email. It was incredible. But I say incredible because of the mass impact it had worldwide. You know. So we've come a long way. But pornography, my goodness, it shouldn't be anything new at this point. But it is a fantastic tool at this point. So better business practices, safer practices, users are in control. We'll get into it, okay? So that's all, people. It's just for sexual desires, sexual curiosity. It's a learning option too. It's a tool primarily. So, okay, I'm glad I got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and continue on, shall we? All right. All pornography is, besides a powerful, useful tool, is a bunch of actors putting on a show. Okay? I'm going to be very raw with this presentation here. No different than a rated R film with a bunch of people getting their heads chopped off and tortured to death. That sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? Anyone, and I mean anyone, who condemns pornography is severely immature and doesn't believe in natural human freedom. Here we go. Thanks to pornography, especially free pornography, lonely people can satisfy their sexual frustrations. Before, there was a lot of sexual violence. I'm not saying there's not still sexual violence. But think about it. There was a gang problem in the 90s with gangsters because they had nothing better else to do. Then video games from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, they started introducing the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the Dreamcast, you name it. I didn't see any more of this gang business going on, personally. And I was living in Orlando, Florida. There was a lot of problems with gangs. At least where I was from. You would think it's peaceful, but they had a marijuana problem and gang problems, like violence and hit and runs, by the way. So, but ever since video games came on the scene in the mid to late 1990s on a heavy scale with all this like plethora of platforms to choose from, and pornography, suddenly nobody's at the parks, and nobody is out there on the corner of the street gang banging. There's no more mass graffiti. I mean, so at least that's a positive side effect, isn't it? Think about it. So they stopped, right? So what's wrong with pornography? And we'll get to OnlyFans. Well, it helped. It massively helped because sexually frustrated people, you don't want them anywhere near you because they're going to take out their anger. I see it online all the time. Sexually frustrated people. I know this because they're unhappy people. And they don't talk about having a soulmate or a girlfriend at least, or a boyfriend. Mainly with the guys, by the way, but there are some females, out of control females, who live miserable lives offline too, and I can clearly see that. Because they like to troll, they like to talk a big talk and have nothing to show or to teach, and just no substance. Just airheads, essentially. Anyways, so let's go ahead and proceed, shall we? There's nothing wrong about masturbating to natural female or male beauty. None of these porn actors are harming anyone. They're making a living by showcasing their bodies and sexual abilities for others to benefit from. Think about it. All right? Okay, now we can move on to the second part here. OnlyFans. Such a big deal over nothing, I swear. Okay. So let's proceed to quickly discuss OnlyFans, which is absolutely a genius move. Think about it, because now people don't need a partner to display their sexual talents and beauty. They can simply film themselves for other people's pleasure. Imagine that. It's the same thing as pornography, isn't it? But now you're in control. So the safety is what? Through the roof, right? There's no pimp factor. That's another thing pornography got rid of. The pimping. The violent, drug-induced pimping. Right? P-I-M-P. You can listen to the 50 Cent song if you want. Newsflash. People were already doing this very thing, OnlyFans, on pornographic platforms such as Pornhub. It's the same thing. Sharing their sexuality and masturbatory pleasures solo or with a partner. Nobody was complaining about that. So why complain about OnlyFans? Is it really something to complain about? People filming themselves intimately. What's there to complain about? Seriously. Anyways, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to complain about something that is merely yet another extension of the pornographic industry. But, in contrast, OnlyFans allows users to be safe and in complete control over their work and their bodies. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on from those two, pornography and OnlyFans. Some examples. Here's some food for thought. Well, actually, here's some even more food for thought. Pornography is simply sex on a screen. Alright? How harmful is that? Compared to blood, horror, violence, disturbing images, and negative language with yelling and cursing. That's far more damaging, don't you think? Rated R, restricted viewing for a reason. Let me see if we're still good to go. I think we're still good to go. Yeah, okay. I can go on forever talking about the torture, the death scenes, and just everything is in these horrific movies, and a ton of bad language. I mean, I actually learned bad language through movies. I did watch restricted movies as a kid. I'm sure everybody else did, especially through their teenager years and adult years. And to this day. That's far more damaging because then even kids want to go out and mimic this violent behavior. They do that. So, monkey see, monkey do. Well, it also works for humans sometimes. The ones who aren't ready to see this type of restricted viewing. So pornography is no different, but minus the violence. I mean, all they're doing is portraying sexual acts, but they're real this time. They're not pretending. So what's so harmful about that in comparison to this? All right. With great power comes great responsibility. Let's go ahead and move on here. For some reason, when some people see others in complete control doing what they want with their precious lives, they all get jealous, all because they wish they had the same level of success. That's what it boils down to, people. Jealousy. Because why be upset over something that's harmless? That's like me being upset over golf or basketball. Oh, I hate those sports. Oh, they're so stupid. They're this and that. Like, okay, they're people playing sports. They're not doing any harm to you. Right? And if I don't want to watch a Disney movie because there's too much singing in it, guess what I do? I don't watch it. Right? It's not harming anybody. I have to explain this because people are just losing their marbles these days. When will such jealous people learn to tend to their own lives, to reach their own goals, and free themselves from harboring nothing but negative emotions within their hearts and minds, having jealousy over what others do. I mean, it's just truly sad. And this one right here, this quote, you can be the moon and still be jealous of the stars. Yeah, that's true. Jealousy is, wow, it's a very negative emotion. If you have some jealousy, then you got stuff to work on. Work on yourself. That's what I recommend. So people jealous, that's what it comes down to. Jealous over OnlyFans and people making a lot of money. I'm talking about so much money they can travel the world 5 times over. All because they make money in the porn industry. You have that same freedom to do so. The same freedom, right? And I like this one right here. More men die of jealousy than of cancer. Because they'll fight each other to death. They become violent. Jealous people are very dangerous in a very negative way. They're a hazard to themselves. They're a hazard to society. And they're an overall hazard to humanity. Because it dumbs down the populations. The masses. It really dumbs down the masses. Reading so many comments under OnlyFans, news reports, documentaries, and within channels of people who actually participate in OnlyFans or making pornographic videos on any of many free pornographic websites, by the way, that's quite concerning. That's very concerning. I mean, what is this world coming down to? So, here's what I have. Here's the uppercut of this show. Here's the uppercut. Here's a knockout punch right here. Seriously. Amazing to see people defend our Constitution along with our amendments so passionately, and many government laws to maintain law and order. But when it comes to people having the freedom to do as they please with their bodies, it's all suddenly wrong. Oh, that's bad. It's just, wow. Talk about de-evolution. We're just devolving. We're not going above and beyond. As if that's the case, wow, shame on humanity, because there's so much hypocrisy and contradictions, and this is one of them. Getting all upset, all hot and bothered over people making money on pornographic sites and on OnlyFans. People should be happy that they're making a living. So, I don't know about you, but I would hope that you stand for our natural right of freedom of choice. Because that's what it all boils down to. I would hope that you stand for freedom of choice, because otherwise you should strongly consider becoming a North Korean or Chinese citizen. Because freedom is what matters here. And this whole arguments against OnlyFans, yada yada. That's what really matters, people. Everybody's losing their minds over people exercising their freedoms. And then it comes down to jealousy, because some of them make a lot of money and then they get jealous. So they condemn it. That's just really sad, as I said before. So, nobody is being harmed, as I said before, by choosing to watch or support pornography or OnlyFans. It's just business. Okay, so everybody relax. I hope everybody seriously relaxes over this stuff. It's just business. I'm glad they're having fun and making a living to survive, as I said before. I'm proud of them. Hey, good for you. If that's what floats your boat, it doesn't float my boat. But I'm not going to condemn them. Just like a hunter going out and shooting deer. Well, who am I to argue? I mean, if you go buy chicken nuggets, you're just as guilty as killing animals as the next person. And we can give all kinds of scenarios and examples. So with that said, read my book and watch my 1-hour video course for so much more natural logic in the realm of love. Not this controversial topic here. Although, yes, I do discuss pornography in my book and in my video course. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check the chat, see if there's any sign of intelligence out there. Intelligent life. Okay, no, I think we're good to go. Let me see. Yes, we're good to go. Perfect. Okay, makes my job that much easier. So, thank you so much for the comment, Emmanuel. And for everybody else out there watching and who enjoyed this show, thank you so much. This was rather an impromptu show. And for that reason, I'm going to end it right here because I said what needs to be said. So we don't have to really touch this topic ever again. It's one and done, finally. we can close the book on this. I'm going to refer anybody who has questions about that over to this stream right here, because I think it's a fantastic, quick presentation to get people to really think about what it is they're losing their minds about. Freedom, people, freedom. So if you don't like it, don't support it, don't watch it, don't condemn it, unless it's actually harming people. These people are not harming anybody. What's the problem? Why is it so disgusting? We were born straight out of the vagina, so sex is not disgusting. It's actually life-producing and very satisfying. It should be. And soul-connecting, if you reach that level, like I have. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and just end it right here. Much love to everybody. Thanks for watching.